Sweet. Thank you. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this video started. This video that I'm doing today is something that my soul screamed was necessary because it's becoming a recurring theme and it's becoming a bigger and bigger headache the more that this revolving door is opened and closed. And I have a title for this video today. The title for this video is "The World Cannot Be Real Unless You Are," which also means so God can't be real unless you are. The real means things like that are synonymous with it, like real, straight, legit, honest, correct, truthful, faithful, versus an untrue representation. And this is actually the saddest thing about the world today is people not owning up to who they are, not being honest about who they are, not being honest about how they are, not being honest about why they are how they are. People with these kind of characteristics, you can characterize yourself by this if you explain yourself differently to different people. You sometimes do what you know you should do, but you also don't do what you know you should do, especially in moments when you know that it really matters. And you make up an excuse as a comfort for your ego right after you injure your own consciousness and awareness. I'm going to get into what that means a little bit more very soon. You injure your own consciousness and awareness by sinning against yourself. For example, you might have hurt someone else, but you could not have had the choice to have had that experience with them if they were not there. So yes, you sinned against another person, but in the moment that you realize that you did something to cause pain, you need to understand that you sinned against yourself as well, because your actions actually caused pain to both of you. You injured your soul by doing something knowingly that went against your own consciousness. So after that, instead of fully immersing yourself in the same moment, which means that you're confronting it, facing it, and learning from it, I write it as learning all you can from it. Because to fully immerse yourself in a moment, like when you do something that you enjoy doing, you really get into it. You look at all the details and all the angles and all the corners and all the sides of whatever it is. Like we do in our moments, especially ones we enjoy, which is exactly what I wrote next. If we don't do that in those times, we lose a ton of experience, which means we also lose a ton of ourselves. Why? Because we don't even get to know that part of ourselves, because we make up an excuse to excuse ourselves from ourselves in that moment, so that we can run away from ourselves in that moment and not learn anything about ourselves in the extent of our consciousness or our awareness for that situation. A sad byproduct of that is new generations, which have the most beautiful questions. Why? Because they are the future. They contain the questions within them that advance our race. They ask the questions that create and build what the future is going to be. When the only people that they can go to for answers don't even fully know themselves, it causes confusion. Why? Because then we can't give full answers that are complete, clear, concise, and make sense. so that someone can learn something from us with a full understanding of what we meant to tell them. Because either we don't fully understand ourselves, or we have not even made a decision about the topic ourselves. So we talk and cause confusion that someone else later ends up putting in the work for and sorting out for us. Which usually is not a good thing. Like, you just got caught jacking something, or you murdered someone and they did an investigation and they found out that it was you, and then had to figure out your motive. Some people, when they do that stuff and they're in the heat of the moment, they don't even know why they did it. So people end up growing up trying to be honest to people who they think are more like them, and hide themselves from people who they don't think will understand them. But no one will know the real you if you can't be honest about it, until they have watched you for long enough, seeing you be your true self, and can learn things about you that you didn't even know about yourself. And this is the saddest possible thing about being a human being, is for you to exist, but somebody else knows yourself better than you do. You can hide, conceal, or be dishonest about who you are, but you have no choice but to be who you are. And when you're being yourself, when you're being who you really are, someone is going to see you. And some people need to understand that they don't have demons. Some people are their demons. Because people don't know themselves well enough to stop themselves, the parts of them that they don't understand and that they don't know are finding ways to sneak out more and more frequently. And then people can't even remember what they did, because they technically weren't in control of themselves anymore, because a part of them was operating that they're not even familiar with. There's a saying that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he or she didn't exist. Don't fool yourself, creation. It's a true thing about human beings. The God in you is about maintaining truth and balance. The demons or the devil in you only cares about indulgence. It's interesting, some of the things that the Bible says, because I found some things to be true, because everything seems to be about 50% truth and lie. And all of these things that I just said before this illustrates how God made us with no fear, but the devil puts fear in us. But a beautiful thing about all of creation, because of the composition of our universe, you don't need to be saved. You are already saved if you can just figure out how to be yourself. Because our universe is comprised mostly of fire and water. And fire purifies things. So at the end of the day, to make your relationship with yourself better, your true self needs to be saved by yourself. Okay, stop it.